There is a technique known as a gravity roll or a freehand technique, which is where one hand is able to go very, very fast with very minimal effort. It's something I've done in the past and I don't do too often anymore, but I do get a lot of comments about it and people ask how I do it. The funny thing is, although it looks crazy, it's actually very, very simple to do. The real issue with this technique is controlling it. It's almost like learning how to run before you can walk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to run and then I'll teach you how to control it. First of all, you have to forget everything you know about holding a stick. Instead of having your balance point back here, you're actually going to move up to the middle of the stick. Another thing that you need to forget about is having a nice loose grip. You actually need to squeeze really, really tight. What you want is a lot of force going that way. I achieve that with my thumb and my finger here by squeezing at the top, and a lot of force going the opposite way. I achieve that with these 3 fingers on the bottom pulling back. What this achieves is it makes your hand turn into a spring. Look at this. You see that? Now, with this crazy grip and this crazy hand positioning, you want to position your hand really, really close to the rim. There's a couple of reasons for this. The first reason is that will position the tip of your stick in the center of the drum, which is where you want to be hitting. And also, it will reduce this noise. Now, this sound is a bad sound. Pretty much everything we're about to do is about reducing that sound. And one of the most important things in doing that is the angle in which you hold the stick. For example, if this is your angle, you will hit the snare and then you will hit the rim and you'll hear that sound. So this is a bad angle. Or if you're too far this way, you won't even strike the drum. You'll just hear this sound. What you need to do is you need to precisely line the stick up so the center of the stick is on the drum head and the middle of the stick is on the rim. If you can strike the drum at this exact angle, the sound of the snare will mask this and you won't even notice it. That's hit number 1. Once you do that, you push through, push past the rim, and your spring will become activated. When you're in this position, it's super, super easy. All you do is lift your hand up and your spring will snap back and create the second hit. And there you have it, that is pretty much it. You just move your hand down and up and it will repeat these hits over and over again. Now, something that people like to do in drumming is use their wrists for an obvious reason. But when you use your wrists in this technique, your angle changes. And then you start to hear this. So what we actually do with this technique is we lock our wrist to lock our angle and we move our forearm up and down. And this way that angle doesn't change at all. Again, everything is not what you've been taught for this technique. It's super, super weird. And it should look something like this. It shouldn't sound like this. That is also why holding the stick in the middle and close to the rim is a good idea. If you're back here, not only are you likely to strike the drum not in the center of the head, but you're also more likely to hit this. Now, another thing that goes against everything we've been taught is you don't want to try and learn this technique slow. The whole purpose of this technique is to go fast. And as soon as you start trying to learn it slow, you've already lost half the battle. You need to just squeeze your stick in the middle and give it a go. You'll be surprised at how quickly it works. It should just start happening almost instantly, but you will hear a few of these. All you do is adjust the angle, lock your arm, make sure you're not moving your wrist, and before you know it, you're going to be absolutely flying. But now the real hard work comes in, and that's learning to control it. Because it's so fast, you're not expected to count every hit. There's no way that you could possibly sit here and count every single one of those hits. Not to mention, this technique is quite quiet. So if you're in a live setting or if you're in a setting where you don't have the best ear mix, it's going to be really, really hard to try and count along with it. So this technique, we actually count based off of feel. Every time you go down, you count. Every time you come up, you don't. So what you do is you count half the hits, making it digestible to actually count at these faster speeds. And then it's also entirely based on a feeling. So if you are in an environment where you can't really hear it, you're still fine. So without hitting the drum so you can hear me talk, I would count 16th notes. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. If I was to count triplets, same thing, every down hit. 1 triplet, 2 triplets. So if you're now confident enough to count those one-handed rolls, you can count 16th notes, you can count triplets, and you're feeling good, it's time to start putting everything together and syncopating it up with your other 3 limbs. Now, a really simple way to start this is with a basic groove between your left hand on the snare and hats and your kick, and you can just keep this moving. Let's start off by just getting a 16th note. Let's see how you get on. When you feel confident with 16th notes, now try some 8th note triplets and see how you get on with that. So at this point, you're probably asking yourself, how do I get my hand all the way up there, and then how do I get it back during a song? The answer is actually really simple. Have a little bit of preparation. If you know you're going to be using it in a song, just walk your hand up. If you think that you're going to improvise with one, just that little bit of forward thinking and you're ready to go. I do this a lot actually whilst playing. So I'll be in the middle of a groove, and during the groove, I'll actually slide my hand up like that, and then I'm ready to go. And then to get out of it is super simple. Just one of them. Job done. I'll quickly show you how that looks now, just with some random improv. It's not so bad. So at this point, hopefully you're feeling fairly confident to play this technique and to control this technique while syncopated with your other limbs. And now the world's your oyster. Go chuck it in a blast beat, go add some double kick behind it, keep experimenting, but hopefully you've got the talent there now. Cheers, guys.